Guys, me host Superstar, thank you very much for tuning in. So today I want to share with you my top 10 horror films that I'm going to be watching this Halloween. And I want to share this list with you, obviously with us being in a bit of a different situation this year. It's a bit of a lockdown year. We can't really go outside and play or have Halloween parties. So I've chosen my top 10 films that I'll be watching over the weekend of the 30th, 31st and 1st. So here's my top 10. I'm going to go through it with you. 10 being, okay. 1 being my absolute favourite must-watch this Halloween. So guys, let's start out at number 10. Number 10 on my list is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. A Blu-ray that I picked up recently. It's an Arrow Blu-ray. I got it recently. I'd never seen this until very recently. I've already watched this one recently. And yeah, I like the fact that on the back it says, after a decade of silence, the buzz is back. And I remember there being all the cool things about the run-up to this movie, where they had the posters up and stuff like that, and it made it look like they were like a weird little boy band and stuff. It was very weird, the posters and stuff for this. Made it look almost like a comedy. But yeah, it was a very different feeling, this movie. It didn't feel as serious as the first one, in my honest opinion. The first film I always found it a bit eerie, whereas this one I didn't find as eerie. But it was definitely very good, with Dennis Hopper making his, with playing as Lefty, was very unhinged and creepy and weird. So I really enjoyed that. Yeah, probably one of the best of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. This is my favourite in the series so far. Number 9. A controversial one that most people are going to go, really? But yeah, really, because it's fun. A lot of people don't even know this even exists. This is the Banana Splits movie. And it says on it, tra-la-la, terror. Banana Splits was obviously a kids' TV show back in the day, but this has been reimagined as a almost Five Nights at Freddy's inspired fest. This feels like, basically, you know when they announce a movie like Five Nights at Freddy's and you get loads of rip-off movies come out, like when Hansel and Gretel came out. Do you remember they released loads of other films called The Tooth Fairy and Hansel and Gretel and all that were like nothing to do with it? This feels like that. This feels like Five Nights at Freddy's was announced, but then they decided to use the Banana Splits. And so they're like robots that basically kill all the people around them after their show gets cancelled. Very weird concept, but it's a lot of fun, and I had so much fun. There is a scene where they're in the car, like they used to have the big motorised vehicles, and they're basically chasing people down in them. Possibly the funniest thing on the planet, because they put the soundtrack over the top of la 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 la. So yeah, this is very different from the original Banana Splits. Don't watch it with your kids, it's definitely a horror movie, it's an 18 certificate. But I really enjoyed it. It's some light-hearted fun, and definitely because it's set in like a field and stuff, in like a warehouse, it gives you that Halloween feel as well. So definitely check that out. Number 8. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. An absolute classic. So happy that this came back out on Blu-ray. It's another Arrow video. Comes with a nice slipcover. I got this from HMV when it got re-released. And yeah, it's definitely worth picking up. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it's one of those classic movies. Universal Studios have actually used it as one of the horror nights. And it comes with a bunch of stuff in here as well. Let me just unfold this. It comes with a nice cool poster, which I've never had up. There you go. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And that's reversible to show you that. Yeah. Definitely going to be watching this very soon. It's definitely high on my list of one of my favourites to watch. Again, I don't find the film scary, and that isn't the point. It's films that make you feel like Halloween. And Killer Clowns from Outer Space is not a scary movie by any means. I don't find it scary in the slightest, but I enjoy watching it each and every single time. Same as how you got films like Hocus Pocus and that people watch yearly. They're not scary, but people enjoy watching them for what they are. And this is definitely one of those films for me that just makes me think of Halloween each and every single time. And I've got the pop vinyls of the clowns as well, so I'll be reviewing those on the channel real soon. I've got all 4 of the clowns now. So I want to review all of them together. but definitely give it a watch. It's cheap, it's cheery, it's cheesy, it's Halloween goodness. So give that one a watch as well. Modern day standards, it's only a 12 certificate. That should tell you what the film's like. And to be fair, the graphics and things, it does look like a Goosebumps story, you know, at this point. In fact, I think there's better CGI in Goosebumps than in this. But let's not forget, this did come out all the way back in, 1988. Ooh. Give it a watch, guys. It's a lot of fun. What are we on? 10, 9, 8. Number 7. Number 7. Controversial where this is on my list, but it has to be on the list. It has to be on the list because of it's Michael Myers, it's Halloween, it's the film that made Halloween movies famous. It's Michael Myers' first outing. I wasn't a tie-up between, do I want to watch this one, the classic original with Jamie Lee Curtis, or do I want to see Jamie Lee Curtis blowing Michael Myers up in that house again in the new timeline sequel of Halloween 2020? And do you know what? I went for the original again, just because it's so iconic and classic. There's so many pumpkins lit up in the houses and stuff. It's got definitely a feel of Halloween about this. And with the new Halloween film coming out, again, we've got Halloween Kills next year, hopefully now. We should have had that this year. We definitely need a bit of Michael Myers to get us through this lockdown, so it's the night he came home again, guys. Definitely give it a watch. Like I have to tell you to watch that on Halloween, though. That's got to be on everyone's list, right? Number 6. I think this is a controversial choice. A lot of people don't consider this horror. And don't consider this Halloweeny and it's not scary. I don't find Halloween has to be scary. It just has to be fun. And there's nothing more fun than Chucky. I love the Chucky movies, don't get me wrong. Child's Play, hilarious. Well, yeah, funny and scary. But I like the later movies. A lot of people hated them, but Bride of Chucky is up there for me. This is a great movie. It introduces us to Tiffany. And of course we get to stare at Jennifer Tilly for 2 hours, so that's always a good thing. Jennifer Tilly's awesome. A clever horror comedy that doesn't skimp on the chills. Is there any chills in this? They're saying it's scary. Is it scary? I always found this absolutely funny. I even watched this as a kid and wasn't scared of this thing. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. This is the Bride of Chucky. Things only got sillier from here, let's be honest. With the Seed of Chucky, that's just a different level. But Bride of Chucky, definitely love it. Then they went back and did a couple of direct-to-DVD movies, including, there's a Curse of Chucky and... I've got them both about somewhere. Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, which take the series back to its Child Play kind of roots. So this is probably the pinnacle for me of where they went with the comedy horror stuff. And yeah, of course it introduced us to Tiffany, which is one of my favourite horror figures that I've got in my collection. Alright, number 5. I can't count. Number 5! It's time for Freddy! A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is from the collection box set. The rest of the collection's up on the side. But yeah, this is from the collection box set. This is the Nightmare on Elm Street #1 by Wes Craven. Definitely got to be up there for Halloween. Everyone needs a bit of Freddy. The first one was the more serious one of the series. It did get sillier and sillier as time went on. Dream Warriors is my personal favourite. But for Halloween, I think the original Freddy is where we need to be. Got Johnny Depp in there as well. Gets dragged through the bed, doesn't he? Torn to bits. Such a good movie. And remember, guys, don't fall asleep. Such a great movie. And if you get the big box set like I've got, you get all the interactive stuff. Like on here, you've got Ready for Freddy, The Making of a Nightmare on Elm Street, The House That Freddy Built, and The Origins of Wes Craven's Nightmare. So definitely give this a watch. Okay, number 4. It. We definitely needed to It the Clown on this list, but I couldn't decide between the new version or Tim Curry's version. And you know what? I went with the original TV version, because this is the one that I watched as a kid, and this is the one I watched growing up on TV, on the Sci-Fi Channel, every Halloween. You know, it was one of those moments where my dad would have it on the television and my mum would be like, should he be watching this? And my dad's like, I don't know. And then, then they watch 5 minutes of it and send me to bed. But yeah, it's one of those classics. It's Pennywise, and it's the original Pennywise, the one that made it popular. And let's not forget, it's Tim Curry, man. Every Halloween needs a bit of Tim Curry, whether it's this or Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think you definitely need one or the other. You definitely need some Tim Curry in your Halloween, and I've gone for Pennywise. Alright, number 3. We're getting close. Whoosh. Scream. The film that personified the catchphrase of, what's your favourite scary movie? And saying Friday the 13th, it's Jason's the killer. No, afraid not. Jason didn't turn up to the sequel. Jason Voorhees' mother was the original killer. Yeah. And Scream spawned off numerous spoofs, such as there's the really weirdly titled one, which is I Know What You Did Last Halloween, Friday the 13th or something. It's a really weird movie with Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell. Very weird movie. But obviously the most popular that it spawned the scary movie franchise as well out of their sort of version of this. And Scream, again, it brought the slasher back in the modern day, and Ghostface has stuck around. We're getting ready for the 5th installment in the series, and this is the original. The mobile phones had only just sort of become a thing when this came out, so you know the whole thing about just star 69 him or whatever you do in America, or 1471 if you're in England, dial back and all that didn't exist. Wasn't a thing. Caller ID wasn't a thing when this came out, so you had no idea. And the fact that it was the killer was on a phone, and it was a mobile, and most people in the film are on handsets attached to the wall and stuff, so they can't escape, and he's got a mobile phone, which is a new thing, so he could be anywhere. That made it all the more scarier. But anyway, this is of its time, but it's still definitely awesome. And the cast in this thing, when you look back now, at the time it wasn't a big deal, but you look back now, you've got it's David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Skeet Ulrich, and Drew Barrymore. Even some of the other lesser known characters in this now they're all well known people. But my only problem with these movies now, Harvey Weinstein, man. His names are on a lot of films in Hollywood though. Anyway, Number 2 in my collection, it has to be The Lost Boys. Now I've got the Lost Boys trilogy right here, which is all 3 movies. Don't bother with the other 2, oh my god. But the original Lost Boys is definitely up there for me. It's definitely worth picking up. Oh my, the box set's broken, oh no! The original movie, definitely watch it every Halloween, without fail. It's cheesy, I love it. Let's go kill some vampires with the weird frog brothers. Love them. Sleep all day, party all night. It's fun to be a vampire, and it's Keith Sutherland, man. I styled my hair on David since I was a kid. Obviously not right now. I've gone for the buzz cut COVID look, but I've always had spikes, because I always wanted to be David from The Lost Boys. That's where I got my love of leather jackets, fingerless gloves, big rocker boots. I wanted to be a Lost Boy so bad. Going through my teenage years as well, oh my god, I wanted to be a rocker so bad. I wanted to be one of those boys. And Mrs. Hoops, I'll tell you, when I was younger and I lived at home and I forgot to pick her up one Saturday morning because I went out the night before and got a little bit weary. And I was laid in bed, hungover to death at 4 o'clock in the morning, watching Lost Boys, and it's one of my favourite memories ever. Cheesy as that is, but yeah, love Lost Boys. It's such a good movie. But guys, that leads us all the way down to number 1. Can you guess what my number 1 horror movie is of all time? Comment down below what you think it's going to be, and if you're right, 5 stars. You get 5 points. My favourite horror movie is Trick or Treat. Introducing us to Sam Hine, or Sam. Trick or Treat is one of those interwebbing stories that basically unfolds as the night goes on. And it's one of the best horror anthology movies that have ever been created. And they're still meant to be making a sequel, but they never got round to it. But Sam is such a synonymous part of Halloween now. He's got so many figures, pop vinyls, statues, action figures, dolls. He's become a part of Halloween itself in the modern culture, in my personal opinion. And you know what? He's definitely worth it. The cast of people in this as well. Dylan Baker, Rochelle Ites, Leslie Ibb, Anna Paquin, Brian Cox. It's definitely worth watching. And you know what? It says on there, the best Halloween film of the last 30 years by Wizard Universe. And I agree. If not only for Anna Paquin and Red Riding Hood. But once you've seen the movie, be wary. But yeah, such a good movie. Definitely number one on my list. Guys, what are your thoughts? Any controversial choices there? Would you move any around in the order? And what are your top 10 movies to watch this Halloween? I want you to list your 10 in the comments down below for me. And I'll judge your movie choices. Because I'm sure you're going to judge mine. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're excited for Halloween like I am. And I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you. Bye!